Good morning, guys. All right, coffee time. Yay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Rapture Watchers, 923, 924. I don't think it's the rapture. I think it's a turning point. Most of us here remember 9/11. Okay. What would a second one be? 9/12, 9/22? I don't know. But I think something happens. It's just not the rapture. I think it's going to wreck people's faith. I do. Like I talked about the straw that broke the camel's back. I generally don't like to spell out things for people. I want you to think. While everyone's focused on the rapture, what actually happens. There's prophecy in the Bible where the moon turns red and the sun is darkened. Okay, it's not that the sun goes out, it's darkened. What would darken something? The sun, like a volcano, a huge volcano, like the year without a summer. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be that. What I'm saying is I think there's going to be something in September that's a turning point. Not blackening out the sun or anything like that, but it's a turning point for people. I think people don't understand the energy, and there's a darkness coming. You have to understand that's God's will. Maybe they're just misinterpreting it, and they can't see it. I see it as something dark coming, the start, something. I'm kind of spelling it out. There's all kind of people out there that follow all these prophets, and there are some that are, I think, that are definitely inspired, but they don't get it 100% right. And that's the truth. Some of them crave that connection with God, and they fool themselves. The other morning I had it was a weird morning, okay? But at the same respect, I looked up at the sky, and the clouds were, for the first time in a long time, they looked like real clouds. No chemtrails in the sky, no lines from all the airplanes. It was just a beautiful sky. And then I felt the darkness that's coming again. That darkness is a void. I can't explain it. And I call it the void because it's unempathetic. There is zero regard for humanity. That's the darkness. It's void, but it's purposeful. I don't know. In that vision I had of the 24 elders, and it goes into, after that it goes into the very first chapter of the very next chapter, and it talks about Mary. Most people think it's Israel. Oh, he's talking about Mary again. Her role is the same as it was back then. She will bring people to God and God to people, period. So does that mean there's an apparition of Mary like there's been in several countries? That maybe the United States sees it? I don't know. And most of you can scoff at that. I don't care. I only say what I feel. I'm not here to please people. You know, we follow man. Okay, we follow man. I'm following my heart. Can my heart be affected by what is out there? Absolutely. But I try to filter it down. I try and get to the root. I try and feel the energy, that essence. Because everything's God's will. The devil can only do what the devil can do because God allows it. And there will be pain and there will be suffering. It's God's will. Just pray for the strength to endure. Period. I mentioned about the birthing pains the other day. Everyone will be affected. Everyone, whether it's money, food, you name it, we will all be affected. I mentioned, okay, the other one video, what if there was a big earthquake and, cripples part of the country? That would be the ideal time for our enemies or so-called friends to strike us. While that's an earthly thing, it is also part of God's will. There's a reason why the United States is not mentioned in the Bible. There's a reason why we are not even a blip or an unknown country or mentioned by any other means. I think we're crippled. Too much boasting of the world's greatest country and this and that. And rightly so, I have pride in my country. But that's the key word there, pride. I have faith in God. I don't have faith in man. We struggle against powers and principalities. These are the fallen. Those are the rank of angels. Powers and principalities are a kind of angel, just like an archangel. I've mentioned this before. That's why I believe, since it even states in the Bible, we are ruled by powers and principalities. You have to go into the Apocrypha to see that the powers and principalities are actually groups of angels, just like the archangels. That's where the fallen came from, most of them. That's why every country is roughly ruled by one of those powers or principalities. We have over 200 and some countries in the world. But how many are major fighting nations? So that leaves a little more than one for every angel to rule over those nations that can fight. I've seen little blips of that gentleman, Spald. He's the one that he was in Kat's video the other day, the one that talked about piercing Trump's ear. I've seen blips of his videos. I've seen them. There is partial truths to what he says. It's not all true. There's too many eyes. There's too many eyes in that man's voice. I warned you. I told you. God told him. Okay? And if that's the case, why would there be an I? He says God a lot, but he says I way more. And I'm sorry, there's conflicting energy there. You see, we can be given something from God, and we can distort it. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's not understanding. Anyway, my morning ramble and 2 cents today. Plain and simple, we need to focus on God, not the prize. At some point, this rapture thing is going to break people. It's going to tear them apart and tear them away from God. 2 Peter, cleverly concocted fables. Okay? The rapture is one of the most controversial things in doctrines, okay? But it's also being used against us. Please understand that it is being used against us. High watch time. Another high watch time. I think it happens. I do. But we're being deceived by what we want and not what God's will is. Anyway, talk to you soon.